Look at Mighty Joe being on time for his live stream. Fucking hell yeah. How many other live streamers you know who could do that shit? I told you I was going to be on at 10:35. Bam, on the damn dot. I was just waiting to hit go live. But, how y'all doing, guys? Yeah, so what up, Brand? What up, Lost? What up, Brian? I got my two biggest dogs up in here. How y'all doing? Yeah, so I'm just kind of making a video tonight for North Carolina Patriots, people who live in North Carolina. We're kind of watching what's going on, thinking that there's nothing going on in this state or in our state. I want to let you know that there's a lot going on in this state, in our state. And so I'm going to start out, I want to kind of like touch on to some of the stuff. Well, first and foremost, let me just get real with all y'all because that's how I always do. But, you know, I've sent a lot of information to people like Dave Jose, CanCon, all these people that are getting attacked and censored right now, to be honest. And Dave Jose kind of said something prolific to me when I sent him this information originally. He's like, why don't you make a video about it yourself? Like, why aren't you going live and talking about it? And I was like, ooh, good point. And so I made a short video. It has the most views on my channel, almost 300 views, about some of the corruption that's going on in North Carolina. And I shared it with a group of people. It got noticed by a person in North Carolina who is doing a lot of work. Subsequently, I got connected to said person through a group of Patriots here. And I had an incredible half-hour talk with a Patriot in North Carolina. This man is known as affectionately as Major Dave, but he's also can be known as Mayor Dave because he's a former mayor in North Carolina. But he has a badass military record and just incredible dude. Deals with analytics, deals with a lot of stuff. You know, on the level of large systems and things like that. He's I believe he's a JAG. I'm not 100% sure. Let me read this guy's record to you because this guy's as impressive as shit. And this is one of our upstanding Patriots in North Carolina who's doing the real work here. And the work that he's doing has already been done. So what I'm talking to you guys about, I had a conversation with him and there may be a thing or two that he divulged to me that I'm not going to tell you guys specifically because that was a personal conversation. I'm not going to necessarily say that, but we're just going to look at this Patriot and like, just look at this guy's profile. This is the caliber of the guy we're going to be talking about here. Because this dude is something fucking else, man. There he is. There. All right, so we're going to read this guy's stuff. So it's Dave Gotees, I believe is the right way to say it, or Major Dave, but it's David, and then it's Goetze. An incredible Patriot from North Carolina. He has a YouTube channel. I believe it's Major Dave or David Gotees. It might be under his name, but either way. So he's a retired Army officer, 8 years enlisted service, still serving for God and country. Listen to this guy's record here. This guy's an interesting cat. So, election fraud investigator, self-employed. That's what he's been doing since, forgive me, he told me. He's been doing it since like 2008 or some shit like that. He's been into this shit for quite a while, like trying to perform elections and deal with election integrity in North Carolina. This guy's got a lot of cool data. 2016, maybe like 5 years he's been involved in it, something like that. I can't remember. But he's a major U.S. Army retired, former director of, we're not going to blow up this whole thing, but some of his stuff is really impressive here. Former major military police corps at the U.S. Army. So he's in the he was an MP, he was a military cop. So he knows like the justice system. Former assistant professor at North Carolina A&T State University. Studied organizational and effectiveness at U.S. Army Command and General Staff College. Studied campaign ethics, election law, media management, and messaging at Fellow Institute of Political Leadership in 2011. I'm telling you, this dude is so decorated in this shit. Studied criminal justice administration at NC State. He studied economics at North Carolina State. This guy is a true fucking patriot. I love this guy. Like, if this guy wanted to run for governor, like, I had a half-hour talk with this dude. He was cool as shit. So Major Dave, like, he's really on to something different. He's been contacted to speak with a lot of different conservative leaders about what he's doing and how he is analyzing data. This is some stuff I can talk to you guys about a little bit. Is that he's really looking at, and again, I posted a link to a 20-minute video he did in the description of this video, because really you got to hear it from the horse's mouth. The guy's fucking brilliant. But basically, he's, from what I can gather, looking at poll book data, like what was on the books, how many ballots were sent out, how many ballots were received. He's looking at that raw numbered data set. He has all these data sets. I'm talking millions and millions of lines of data that he is analyzing and is working on. The least I can say about it is that he's working on a creative way to get a lot more people to analyze those data sets. That looks like it's going to work out quite well. And also that he has been in contact with North Carolina state legislators that are willing to put this stuff forward. So I mean, like, he's been already talking to the right people, nuts and bolts. Like, his job's already like done, and now he's like squashing the data and getting the data to the people and like talking to people and trying to educate people about what's actually happening. But we have a true patriot in Major Dave, and I absolutely salute them. Absolutely major cool stuff with North Carolina news. And I'm going to give some more North Carolina news just because I want to give some North Carolina news. I won't make this a very long video, but I just want to kind of try and get that out there. It's Major Dave. Major Dave. I popped a link to his channel, there's a link in my description to a video he posted on his channel, so you can get in touch with him that way. Bram was asking this power and ideas, tremendous power and ideas. Absolutely. And so earlier today, just a couple random thoughts before I jump into some more North Carolina kind of concepts based specifically. Yesterday, they were talking about on somebody's channel, people not learning cursive anymore. I think it was on Bill Bailey or somebody was talking about this shit. And people aren't learning cursive anymore. And it's you know how you learn how to sign your name, this and that. They're talking about writing and how to identify. You're just going to mark everything with an X. And what's more dangerous is if you can't write in cursive, you can't read cursive anymore, because print is quite different from cursive. And it almost looks like a different language if you were never taught how to write cursive. And so it becomes very dangerous because the founding documents were written in a different style cursive than quote unquote modern computer cursive. And so that's already a differential right there. And everybody's cursive was different. So basically it becomes harder and harder for people to be able to read cursive writing. And our founding documents are written in cursive. So you can't actually go back and read them anymore. You get a generation of people that wouldn't be able to read those documents. That's frightening to me. All right, so that was one point. I can't remember the other point, but we're going to dig into some of the stuff that I sent homeboy Dave. This is stuff that I wanted to get out onto a YouTube video, but Dave kind of correctly pointed out to me is that if I don't do it, who the fuck else will, basically, right? So let me see what's going on here. I have some cool stuff stored in this message thread. Nope, sorry, I'm in the wrong shit. That's why I'm in the wrong place, the wrong time. Here we go. So here's some cool stuff that I found. So first thing, foremost, and I mentioned this in a previous video, but if you haven't seen it, and I'm trying to call to North Carolina Patriots with this video and connect to them. First thing is really first and foremost important is that our machines were not certified. And this is an article. Here's the source. It comes from the Port City Daily local news here. Hold on. I'm going to click on the actual article to read it to you guys. And what I'll do is I'll actually go ahead and drop a link in the description. I'm starting to learn, right? This is how you got to do these things. So we're going to drop another link in the description here for you guys. I guess I just go to edit. Bam. All right. So we got Major Dave link there. Go below that. And this is going to be machine. So this is kind of what like really tipped me off and pissed on that. I've been involved in the potential fraud here the whole time, like looking at what the fuck's going on, and I'm like, man, this shit's shady. I don't care if my channel gets deleted. I did start an Odyssey, so all my shit should be being backed up on there already. So this article comes from PortCityDaily.com, local news, 2019 on 12/15, right? So December 15th. All right, and it says Port City Daily in Wilmington, North Carolina. Despite disappointment in manufacturer, NC Election Board skips certification to approve new voting systems. Wilmington, the state's election board has resolved the potential for a major shortage of voting machines, including around a $1 million worth that New Hanover County plans to order. The move is not without controversy, as some state officials said that the manufacturer held back information about the shortage to force the state's hand in approving a new model. On Friday afternoon, the North Carolina Board of Elections, the NCSBE, voted 3-2 to approve the use of a newer model of voting system manufactured by Elections System and Software, also known as ES&S, without putting it through the state's certification process. That's enough. Like you can read the rest of the fucking article. It's like bullshit that this even fucking happened. But what originally I kind of passed this off actually in the last video I posted about like relating it to COVID. But then I looked at the date. It's December 15th, 2019. They decided to do this. This is pre-COVID that they said we're going to have a shortage of machines. And we need to fucking pass off these machines that are not certified. That's fucked up. All right. That's fucked up. All right. So that's point one. And again, the article is linked in the description because I'm starting to learn from the pros here. Because, the pros are getting taken down left and right. And I'm just an asshole that started this for music and to have fun and hang out. But this is important. I want to get this shit out. I made a video for Charlie last night. I hope you look at it. I read the entire Revolver article, word for word, beginning to end, and give my personal commentary because I personally know Charles Donahue. All right. So, and go ahead and come at me, FBI. I don't give a fuck. I would gladly be a character witness for him. He's an upstanding individual. All right, what do we got next? I got more stuff I want to share with you guys. Sorry, I got to go back into here. All right. So this is just for North Carolina Patriots. I just want to pump you guys up just to let you know there's shit actually going on here. Like, we have stuff. We have information. We have evidence. We are not sleeping on this stuff. All right, so here's the Fund 100 Elections Grant, North Carolina Ordinance Final PDF. Let me see how I can do this so I can actually put a link to this in the description as well. There we go. There's a way to do that too. How can we do that? Let's do... All right, well, either way, this is actually... So this is kind of funny to me. So this one is... So I was looking into ctcl, and this one came up accidentally. And so this is funny that this came up first again, because it came up first in the last video, and I was like, oh, that's from this year, and I kind of moved on, right? And then just went into how fucked up ctcl is and how much money they got in here. But for some reason, Buncombe County, North Carolina, has a general fund. The board meeting date was January 19th, 2021. So that was this year, just a day before the inauguration. The budget director recommends that the board now desires to amend the fiscal year 2021 budget general fund as outlined below in Exhibit A to the budget. Now, therefore, be it ordained by the Board of Commissioners for the County of Buncombe as follows. 1. The fiscal year 2020 to 2021 amends listed in Exhibit A below be hereby adopted. That this ordinance shall be effective upon adopted this 19th day of January 2021. January 19th, 2021. Requesting department is the Board of Elections. Budget amendment item, Center for Tech and Civic Life Grant, State of North Carolina. CTCL, Mark Zuckerbucks, literally. Zuckerbucks, the day before the 20th. Fucking January. Weird. This is all just, again, that's how the budgets have to go. But CTCL, that's how this article popped up to me. But this is this year. This is affecting this year. So why are they dumping $78,822 is what Buncombe County gets. So in this description, listen to this. In October, commissioners approved a grant from the Center for Tech and Civic Life to assist with general election costs. The same grantor also provided funds to the State Board of Elections, which were then disseminated to counties near the beginning of December for poll worker hazard pay in the amount of $100 per worker. The hazard payments have already been distributed due to time constraints with the dollars. This amendment will increase the budget to show the receipt of these funds from the state of North Carolina in the amount of $72,822. So $100 a person paying poll workers hazard pay. They bribed them $100. They're giving them $100. What the fuck is this shit? Funding source: $72,822 from the Center for Tech and Civic Life via the State Board of Elections. It's like the day before the 20th. Hey, you did a good job. Here's your fucking pay for your fucking county. Yada yada yada. So that shit's there. This file. Let's see if I can. I don't want to do this because of the way it's linked and what that link will do. So I'm not going to share that file, but it's there. You can search it. It does exist. Let's see what else we got here. I got a lot of shit I dropped in here, and it was fun to read it in my other video, but I guess I have a lot more understanding now than I did before. This one's an interesting one. Let's see what this one says. So this is the State of North Carolina Office of State Budget and Management. Employment First State for Individuals with Disabilities. So this was December 30th, 2020. This Governor Roy Cooper, yada yada. Memorandum to the County Manager's County Board of Elections from Karen Breeson Bell, Director of North Carolina State Board of Elections, Stephanie McGraw, Director of North Carolina Pandemic Recovery Office, re-clarification of use of election funds for bonuses and hazard pay. So I guess it's kind of fun that I read that other one first because I was clearing the hazard pay. So we're going to tack into this. Let's see what's going on in North Carolina. This is fun, right? You guys are having fun? Share this shit. You got some friends in North Carolina? Share it with them. They probably think it's relevant. I love you guys. Hold on. I'm actually going to check back in with my chat because I've been ignoring my YouTube for a second. Let's see what they're going on here. Yeah, they're just chilling. You guys are listening. Yeah. All right, so let's see what else we got. There's some cool shit going on here. We ain't done. All right, so we're going to go back into, where the fuck did that document roll off to that I opened? Here it is. All right, so it has come to the attention of the North Carolina State Board of Elections, the SBE, and the North Carolina Pandemic Recovery Office. I didn't even know we had that, NCPRO. I need to look at who those people are, who funded them, where they came from, and if they have been receiving funds from the cookie country there. Sorry, that's just really interesting that we have a North Carolina Pandemic Recovery Office. The county managers, finance officers, and board of electors may have received conflicting guidance regarding the CARES Act funds and the use of those funds by county boards of elections. We hope that this letter will help to clarify both policy and reporting requirements. We're going to read this whole thing because I didn't last time I went through my channel. I tried to speed read through and hit the important parts. We're going through this whole document together tonight, my friends, because this is for North Carolina. I'm sharing this with North Carolina Patriots. I'm a North Carolina Patriot. All this information is readily available online through a quick Google search looking at how ctcl has funded North Carolina elections. That's how I found all these documents. And I found some other stuff, which I will share again by the end of this video. Hopefully, y'all will get an idea what the fuck is actually going on here. North Carolina is going to blow up. We are probably quite an interesting domino in the scheme of things. I feel we're a hub. All right, so a primary source of confusion is the fact that the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Securities Act, or the CARES Act, appropriated funds for a wide variety of purposes, including a subsidiary fund, the Coronavirus Relief Fund, or CRF, specifically for state and local aid. Often these funds have been called CARES Act funds without distinguishing between the different appropriations, with each have different purposes and different requirements. This year, county governments and county boards of elections may have received funds from 3 different sources for election-related expenses: the Election Securities Grants, Session Law 2020-17, CRF via SBE Sessions Law 2020-97, Section 3.3104, and CRF allocated to counties and municipalities, Sessions Law 2020-4 and 2020-80. Counties and local boards of elections should determine the source of funds before appropriating the use, as these funds have different restrictions. See Table 1. For example, election security grants may be used for election-related incentives or bonus pay in accordance with the Election Assistance Commission's EAC's 2020 CARES Act grant facts document, accessible here, and then there's a link. While that would be a whole rabbit hole all by itself, because that's a fun document I haven't even clicked on yet. While CRF may not be used for bonus pay, but may be used for hazard pay with appropriate documentation and in accordance with county HR policies. In SL 2020-17, the North Carolina General Assembly, or the NCGA, made a variety of changes to election law and appropriated funds from election security grants provided in the CARES Act, Section 11-1 of Session Law 2017 appropriated. The required state matching funds to the State Board of Elections to prevent, prepare for, and respond to the coronavirus pandemic during the 2020 election cycle. Section 11.1b requires the State Board of Elections to make these allocations of funds to the county boards of elections based on the NC Department of Commerce 2020 county tier designations. I'm going to pause there for a second before I read the end of this paragraph. Turn my light on, because I really truly realize the thing as I read this is that really the most important part of this is that, like, you can't give people money. You can't pay them for being involved in an election. You can't give people bonuses for being involved in an election, but you can give them hazard pay, right? And because we have the scandemic, plandemic, Fauci fucking fraud and the fucking Wuhan Kung flu heisted on us, because that bullshit happened, they could give them hazard pay, right? This is very important to read words, read documents, read this stuff like you are a lawyer. You don't need a lawyer, you just need to be able to fucking read. All right, Section 11.1c of the Act requires the state board to allocate any remaining funds to counties on a per se registered voter basis for expenses eligible under the CARES Act. And emphasis added. This is very interesting here. What the fuck is this? So on a per registered voter basis. So basically how many voters they get the money. Like, so if they like frauded up the numbers of how many like fucking registered voters in the county, they get more money. Like literally, that's literally what that says. Base allocations to the county boards must be used to address the coronavirus pandemic, including but not limited to the following. Let's see what it is. I haven't read this ever before. I'm watching this fresh with you guys. I'm reading this fresh with you guys. 1. Providing for increased postage costs for mail-in absentee ballots sent out to the county board of elections. So you're going to beef up postage costs, okay? So that's a payoff to the postmaster general, right? In the post office, probably. I'm just guessing. Point 2. Ensuring an adequate number of poll workers by use of advertising or public awareness campaigns, or it's a one or two, or II, offering incentive compensation and other pay increases. So basically, they're gonna pay people to work the fucking polls. They're gonna like offer incentive and be like, "Yo, come fucking work the polls. We're gonna advertise. We're gonna pay you, motherfuckers." And then give them hazard pay bonuses. Don't forget. You're starting to see like that the ctcl fucking manipulation. It's like hiring Starbucks to run your fucking election around here, literally. 3, recruiting members and promoting the use of multi-partisan assistant terms. Multi-partisan. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that one. These funds were appropriate. Well, actually, I don't call bullshit on that one. That has something to do with what Major Dave is cooking up, is that he has read this document probably quite thoroughly, and they do have to dish it out to both parties. So maybe some of that money is going to be coming to the other side here. You never know. Maybe we're going to use that to count some ballets. These funds were appropriated to the SBE. These are not CRF. They are separate and distinct funds for different purposes. All right, so restrictions on use of election security grants. Funding is specific to elections and election-related costs. According to the U.S. Election Assistance Commission, or the EAC, to be allowable under a grant, costs must be necessary, reasonable, and allocatable to the grant. This is an assessment each state makes, but the EAC is of the opinion that expenditures related to the protection of the health and safety of poll workers, health and safety, look at this like shit right in here, safe staff and voters during federal elections, as well as those resulting from unanticipated increased demand for vote by mail costs, e.g. printing ballots, postage, etc., equipment and temporary staff. Similar costs due to the COVID-19 would satisfy these elements. So basically, if they didn't have the pandemic, they wouldn't have been able to move all this fucking money around. That's what it's saying. You guys pay attention. It is unclear whether the deadline for encumbering these funds would also be extended to December 31st, 2021. Oh, so yeah, you gotta make sure it keeps going, right? The SBE is closely monitoring and will send an update if one becomes available, because they're going to extend it and make sure it goes into 2022, yada, yada, yada. Fucking the goddamn jab is going to cause an autoimmune response like you've never seen. Drink pine needle tea and fucking protect yourself. Reporting, the SBE is responsible for reporting on these funds to the NCGA and the Physical Research Division. All right, so in SL 2097, Section 3.3104, the NCGA separately appropriated $5 million to the CRF for election-related costs. These funds were also appropriated to the SBE to be distributed to counties. These funds are subject to the restrictions placed by the CRF by the U.S. Treasury that the NCPRO has communicated via webinars, fax, and emails. So basically, they're like, be careful out of this $5 million. Some of it, if you touch it, the Treasury is going to track it, and we don't want them looking at that shit. All right? Restrictions on the use of CRF. These are my own opinions. I'm just reading documents and giving my opinions. So fuck YouTube. You want to take me down? Take me down. I'm everywhere else. I don't give a shit. Restrictions on the use of CRF. Must be a necessary expenditure due to the coronavirus emergency. Must not have been. Hold on. Restrictions on the use of CRF. Let's just listen to this. Must be a necessary expenditure due to the coronavirus emergency. So basically, it's an open piggy bank. Must not have been accounted for in the government's entity's most recently enacted budget. So it must be extra money that's not in the budget. You got to give me more. Must be expended in the covered period, originally March 1st through December 30th, 2020. This has been extended in recent Federal Appropriations Act to December 31st, 2021, because, you know, Sleepy Joe needs fucking a pat on the back, and they need to keep greasing the wheels. And then he's got to have his negotiating wage, right? If he can even stay awake to negotiate. Maybe used for hazard pay with appropriate documentation in accordance with the county's HR policies. So literally, and this is bolded out in their own fucking document, may be used for hazard pay. That's how they padded the back. Look into that. Major Dave, if you watch my channel, Major Dave, and I'll call you and I'll ask you to look into this. Look into the fucking hazard pay of these motherfuckers. That's how they did it. They did it through that back door with appropriate documentation in accordance with the county's HR policies. Well, it just so happens a lot of these counties in North Carolina are fucking corrupt, from the fucking bottom to the top. And we're going to get into that before this video is over. This is for North Carolina. I don't have a lot of time. I can't even get into how much more is this document. Man, this document's so long. I'm not even going to read this whole fucking document because it's shit. My God. Let's just keep going just for a minute, though. Because where were we? There's so much going on with this shit. Let's just get to the end of, what the fuck they say. And then I just won't get into how the money was allocated because we're almost to the end of this. All right, so reporting. Counties must report to the SBE, which is responsible for reporting on the specific allocation to the NCPRO. So we need to get up these assholes, these motherfuckers' asses right here, people in North Carolina. Counties must report to the SBE. So those are the people we need to talk to, which is responsible for the reporting on this specific allocation to the NCPRO. Remember, that's our coronavirus weirdo fucking thing that didn't exist in our government before that exists now. All right. In turn, the NCPRO in turn reports on this and all other CRF appropriations to the NGGA and the Physical Research Division. All right. So we need to talk to those motherfuckers and figure out who's running all this shit and who's in charge of it. And chances are they have connections to ctcl and Soros funded shit. I don't give a fuck if YouTube takes me down for saying that shit. No fucks given. Finally, in both SL 2020-4 and SL 2020-80, the NGA appropriated CRF directly to counties and municipalities for responding to the coronavirus emergency. We don't believe that any of these local funds have been used to support boards of elections. However, we don't believe. However, we know, so they don't believe, but however they know, whatever they're going to say next, that county governments must account for these funds as well. Oh, yeah, I'm sure they all did too. And I want to mention them as another source of funds you have received that may have been called the CARES Act funds. Restrictions on the use of CRF, same as CRF above. Reporting. Counties are responsible for reporting directly to the NCPRO on the use of their research county specific allocation. So pay off this brand new fucking thing that just arrived in our fucking state government and report directly to them on how you use the fucking money so that they can hide it, squirrel it away, fucking do all the bullshit. And then they're going to turn their reports, and CPRO is going to turn their reports into the NCGA and the Physical Research Division. So basically, it's a money laundering operation with our own local fucking government. Let's look that up later, right? To summarize here's how all it got allocated and shit. But that's just a spreadsheet that says what was said above. To summarize, the election security funds allocated to county boards of elections, to the state board of elections, social, blah, 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 blah. But then we scroll down, and it's like blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden we get to this other document within the same document where it says Center for Tech and Civic Life, October 6th, 2020. State of North Carolina Executive Director, State Board of Elections, dear Karen Bell, I'm pleased to inform you that basically blah, blah, blah. They're saying they're going to give them $2 million. Turns out they actually got fucking $5 million. I was corrected by Major Dave gladly. So I just read this document. My last thing, that was my source for the other stuff. But the top of this document was actually really interesting. I did not read that before. But it turns out that state allocations and county allocations and the rest of this document are incorrect, and they received more money than that. All right. So what else do we have? I'm going to just go ahead and check back in with my chat, see if anybody's said anything interesting. So what do we got here so far? Yeah. All right, so we got stuff. We got Bert Gummer in the house. What up, Bert, man? You guys are all up in here. Bert, we got Brand, we got Mac, we got Bert. Everybody's in here. You guys are cool as shit, man. All right, so we'll keep going on this stuff because this is for people in North Carolina. Please share this out to other people. I got another document we're gonna click on here. We're gonna jump into this one. This is my dig on all North Carolina. I'm giving it to all you guys tonight. And again, it's like, I was hoping somebody else would take this information, put it out to the people. I guess I'm destined to be the motherfucker to do it, so I'm gonna do it. So, Democracy, North Carolina. This is unfortunately a non-dated document. Forsyth County failures disenfranchised voters. But this is from democracync.org. All right, so what happened? Forsyth County Board of Elections Staff Director Tim Tsuji, remember this motherfucker's name because we're going to do a little dive into Timmy, says that the cover slip for provisional ballots lacked a designated area for a voter's signature, and many voters were instructed by poll workers to add a signature somewhere on the form. Despite this combination of technical and poll worker error, the three-member Board of Elections decided last month to throw out more than 130 provisional ballots, coding them no signature. What's next, to who's affected, yada. Basically, I'm gonna bitch this guy. I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but the guy is named Tim Tsuji. It's like, that's our North Carolina, Forsyth County Board of Elections staff director. That's the guy. He's our staff director. Who the fuck is that guy? So I look him up. Turns out that Tim Tsuji, let me go back into my thread here because I'm pretty sure I got it all in here. Yeah. So we go to the Center for Tech and Civic Life's website. Literally go to their fucking website and we look at their advisory committee. All right. So the advisory committee for TCTL, literally, we're talking Forsyth County, North Carolina. We're going down. All right. So we got here. I'm going to look at a couple people. We got Indra Arigara, former language assistant compliance manager, Alaska Division of Elections. So we got the Alaska chick up in here. We got Kim A. Barton, supervisor of elections, Alachua County, Florida. We got this is a homeboy from Rhode Island here. We got Noriles R. Consuguera, whatever. This is literally on their board of elections. We're going down the line, We got California in the house. We got Utah in the house. This guy's an interesting guy. I'm gonna look at this guy's name, Matt Masterson, policy fellow, Stanford Internet Observatory. That just caught my eye as I was scrolling down. So we're just gonna read this guy's whole description. I'm Patriots dig on this shit. Matt Masterson is a non-resident policy fellow with Stanford Internet Observatory. He recently served as senior cybersecurity advisor at the Department of Homeland Security, where he focused on election security issues. He previously served as the commissioner at the Election Assistance Commission from December 2014 until March 2018, including serving as commission's chairman in 2017-18. Prior to that, he held staff positions with the Ohio Secretary of State's office, where he oversaw voting system certification efforts and helped develop an online voter registration system. Matt holds a law degree from the University of Dayton School of Law and MBA degrees from Miami University, Oxford, Ohio. Basically, every single person here works for major election campaigns and they're big players in elections, and all have been involved in elections. They all work for CTL. They're all their board of advisors. So, homeboy Tim Tsuji, director of elections, Forsyth County Board of Elections, North Carolina. Tim Tsuji is the director of elections for the Forsyth County Board of Elections, North Carolina. He served as an election official for the past 12 years. Previously, as deputy director, early voting director for the Gilbert County Board of Elections. Tim holds a degree in political science from the George Washington University, a master of public affairs from the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. His office was recently presented the Herb Stout Award by the North Carolina Center for Geographic Informational Analysis for the implementation of a polling place wait time tracking application in the 2016 general election. So this dude's like pioneering like computer equipment to like look at what the fuck's going on in our elections and shit. It's just shady as fuck, right? Homeboy is like on the board of ctcl. Then it turns out the founder of ctcl actually got her start in North Carolina, running in North Carolina elections. I'm telling you, everything is shady as fuck. It is the Zuckerbuck funnel of money, and it is insane. Now, that doesn't even scratch the surface on the shit that Major Dave has uncovered in North Carolina and the shit that his group is working on, which is doing incredible, incredible work. So I'm just looking at CT, and he knows more than I do. He's looking at all this shit. I am telling you, North Carolina is not going to be sleeping very long. What else do I have to say about it? Yeah, I mean, it's insane. All right. So then, my big video yesterday about the Revolver article that was published, right? And how the North Carolina chapter leader of the Proud Boys is in that indictment. That's my buddy Charlie. He's a war vet and a stand-up dude and a great dude. A little bit of a gullible guy, a little bit of a drunk guy. And not even that he's gullible, he just has a giant heart. He's one of those people who always wants to help. He has like the best intentions. But then Gateway Pundit published an article, and then within that Revolver release, they were recruiting people like him to be the fall guy for this situation. FBI agents gave him general direction above him as his commanding officer in the organizational structure of the Proud Boys. They are a fraternal brotherhood runs with a military structure. The commanding officer, the number one motherfucker, is an FBI informant. Their thought leader is an FBI informant. Number two, meaning the command structure of the military organization is FBI. Proud Boys is FBI. Literally. That's the fucking truth. That shit's coming out. Like, I don't give a fuck if they try and delete us. The audit's coming out. The fact that the FBI and the CIA and all these other fucking organizations have been running these psyops and running these wars all over the fucking world, it is coming out. And I'm personally invested in this because you have one of my fucking friends in jail over this shit. The Illuminati is jailing one of my friends, and the FBI is complacent and commanded him to do what he did on the day he fucking did it. Led him into it, literally, like a fucking goddamn lamb to a slaughter, and they got him fucking locked up. This is in North Carolina. That's Charles Donahue. Look up his name. He's not a bad person. He's one of the nicest people I've ever met in my fucking entire life. And I'm rip shit that he is in jail over political bullshit. And Vladimir Putin was right on calling out the fucking U.S. on locking up political dissonance, because that's exactly what this January 6th bullshit is about. So, North Carolina Patriots, I hope you're fired up. I hope you're ready to fight back, because there's a fight going on. We already have legislators signed on, ready to go with this shit. Behind the scenes, I know this shit to be the truth. I've been told it. And there's incredible news coming involving nonprofit organizations that are going to really try to make a difference in North Carolina. And I hope to inspire every North Carolina Patriot to get involved. Please share with anybody you know. This is for the people of North Carolina. My name's Real Mighty Joe. I'm signing off. Fucking God bless America and all that shit.